Salut messieurs, dames, et bienvenue au Petrol Ped, et bienvenue en France, et le DS9. Yes, you'll be pleased to know that is probably the last French I'll be speaking today, till later on today when I've had a glass of wine or two. But yes, welcome to Petrol Ped. I am in France with DS Automobiles driving the DS9. Immersing myself in the world of DS and the world of one of my favourite countries, France. I absolutely love France, me. So after my cryptic intro, let me just tell you a little bit about what's happening today. I've flown here today with DS Automobiles. We've flown into Lyon Airport and we have a big, long trip actually. We're about 300 kilometers of driving today around in this DS9. It's the first time I've ever driven the DS9. And today isn't so much a review of the car, although I'm going to be telling you about it as we go. But the idea about today is to really understand the things that make DS tick. There's lots of lovely things in this car that have a lot of French inspiration, and we're dropping off into some experiences as we go along our press route. A really different take on a press trip, that's for sure. First up, the DS9. It's the executive saloon of the DS range. I've never driven one before. I've been driving it for about half an hour, and all I can say is this thing is smooth. And actually, I'm currently in comfort mode, and one of the cool bits of tech in the car that's making it so smooth is that there's a camera looking out the front window at the road surface, looking for imperfections in the road surface, and that then prepares the suspension for when we get to that imperfection to make sure the ride is as smooth as possible. And it works a treat. Absolutely brilliant. The road route that we've got has some twisty bits. At the moment we're on a bit of a transition to experience number one, which is a nice long bit of pay road or péage in France, and it's nice just to get to grips with the car in terms of a motorway cruiser, and it's safe to say it ticks that box. Next up we're going to Puy-Foussay for a little bit of degustation, one of my favourite things to do when I'm in France. Unfortunately I'm driving, so I might have to be using the spittoon and waiting till we get to the hotel later on when we've got a rather nice slap-up meal to enjoy. But for now, well, we're now off of the autoroute and we're coming down through some vineyards in the area around Puy-Foussay, and it is beautiful around here. Absolutely stunning. In fact, we are now entering Foussay. So, I guess if we're immersing ourselves in the world of France, then coming to a vineyard and doing some wine tasting is right up there, really. If you've never done it, highly recommended. Most French vineyards will have a degustation room, a place where you can go and try their wines, and a lot of them you'll do wines and they might even bring out kind of cold meats and cheeses and things to accompany the wines. But look at this, how cute's this? And there's a flag there that says DS, so we must be in the right place. So, and there's lots of DS's parked in the car park, and there's a guy there waving at us saying, come and park over here. Well, we've certainly got the weather with us today. So we parked the DS9 over there with a whole bunch of other DS9s. This is an international event, so there are journalists from all over the world coming here today, deep diving into the world of DS. And we're here at this Puy-Foussay vineyard, and we're going to go in for some degustation. Wow. What a place. Now, I am partial to a little bit of Puy-Foussay, and we are actually tasting a Premier Cru from 2020. Now, I'm obviously driving, so unfortunately the degustation is down to a little bit of sniffing and oh my god, yeah, I could properly spend some time here. What a beautiful vineyard though. The joy of coming to somewhere like this, you talk to the guys that work here, you'll find out all about the terroir, where the grapes are grown, the vineyards themselves, the processes, the aging of the wine. I just find it fascinating. I love going around breweries and vineyards, but when you come to France, yes, certainly having a bit of a taste. Now, I'm limited to this as I'm driving, but when we get to our evening meal this evening, I'm sure there'll be many more glasses of wine drunk. But yes, I'm enjoying this. Cheers, or santé. Woo, it's hot. It's 34 degrees, so apologies for the aircon trying to cool me down. That was really interesting. I do like going to a vineyard, but we are on our way to lunch. Now, this is the lower power version of the two DS9s that I've got my hands on today. We'll jump into the higher power four-wheel drive one this afternoon. So this one's, for me, not so much about seeing what the ultimate performance is like, but certainly as a mile muncher and a comfortable car, it's a stunning, stunning place to be. I'm going to concentrate on the sat-nav, make sure I don't get lost, and then try and find lunch. Now, while we're on this lovely bit of French road, let me tell you a little bit about this DS9 Esprit de Voyage. What a brilliant model name. So this is a 250 brake plug-in hybrid version, front-wheel drive, and I have to say it's got a really nice feeling on the road. It's got super ride quality, really, really good. I know we talked earlier on about the comfort setting predicting bumps and lumps in the road. I'm now in the sport mode, but it just rides over the road, and these smaller kind of country roads in France, they're pretty good. They're still way better tarmac than you're going to find in the UK, but you can kind of see the undulations and the bumps and the lumps, and the car just glides over them. Really, really impressive, and it just has a nice feeling. It's quite a big car in terms of feel, and enough pull out the corners to waft. It's a wafting car. It's nice, and this road's nice as well. Starting to get a little bit more. There were some lorries and horrible things in front, but clearly they've done one and got out of the way, because now we've got a nice smooth. What a bit of road this is. Awesome. Yes. So we're nearly at lunch. Only got 215 kilometres of our loop left, but the scenery around here, oh my days, absolutely beautiful. Oh wow. So that's very, very, very pretty. Wow. I don't know whether that's a vineyard, a chateau. Oh, it's beautiful though. Wow. That's called Le Grand Étang, that big lake. I have no idea where we are, but it's very beautiful. So let's just have a quick look as we get around here. Wow, I love France. Have I told you that already? I really do like France. So, that is Chateau de la Clayette, and it's proper beautiful. It's got a moat. I don't know that you can make out. Look at those bits of topiary outside. That is wicked. Wow. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Now, I've just done the ultimate YouTuber thing, driving down this road with that view. I just had to stop and get a little bit of sort of scenery in the background while you can have a look at the DS9. I'm so enjoying driving this car, but what I'm enjoying just as much is this part of France. It's not a part of France I know very well at all, and it is drop dead gorgeous. Almost around every corner there's a vista. Around the next corner there's a beautiful little village or an amazing church or a chateau. It's absolutely beautiful, and I'll definitely be coming back here on me hollybobs with Tracy. It's beautiful, but let me just quickly walk you around the car from the outside. I'll do a little bit of a better walk around once we get to the hotel, but you know, there's a cow there and everything. Look, we were just there. But yeah, an absolutely mega car this, and I just think styling wise really understated, very stylish. I'm parked on the wrong side of the road and I can hear a car coming, so I'm going to get back in and get on my way. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of show you that, and that view. How beautiful is that? And the weather, oh my days. This one came up on me a little bit quick. So we've got a whole bunch of DS's and a DS flag. So this is lunch. Looks very cute. And a bit of al fresco dining. Where are we going to park? Oh, we've got another car park around the corner. Yeah, it looks nice in there. Well, what a beautiful drive that was. We've arrived at our lunch stop. And honestly, I know I keep saying it, but this part of France is taking my breath away. What a beautiful part of the country. We've got a lovely vista there, a lovely pond, and then we've got a nice covered area to have our lunch. Very much looking forward to seeing what's served up. I'm very impressed by the first variant of the DS9 that I've driven. This afternoon we're in the more powerful four-wheel drive version, and I have a feeling that that's going to be a bit more spirited in terms of its performance and just the way it feels on the road. But as I said, the ride quality and the feel of the DS9 so far is right up my street. I like it a lot. Wow, what an absolutely lovely meal. And I got a DS apron for when I'm cooking back home. Beautiful, beautiful meal. Started off with a cold kind of a gazpacho soup, very, very nice. Lots of lovely fresh ingredients, fresh asparagus. The main was lovely. And then the dessert, well, I thought it was just a normal panna cotta, but it was really special, very complex mix. It had vanilla and it had nuts and it had coffee and it had passion fruit. It was absolutely delicious. And I think that's one of the things the guys that are organising this trip want to really bring across, is this esprit de voyage, this kind of you know, exploring the whole French genetics that sit behind the DS brand. And I'm loving it because I love France. So we're going to swap over cars. We're now going to go in the more powerful DS9. Well, that was a lovely, very French lunch. The owners of that restaurant have had a restaurant in the family for many, many years. Have had 3 Michelin stars. The level of food was just stunning. And actually, they've got a couple of gîtes and a room that you can stay in as well. So it may well be that I'm going to come back there because it was so good. But I've now got someone driving, because when I was sat at lunch with the guys from DS, they said, "Have you sat in the back of the DS9 yet?" I was like, "No. I'm here to drive." And they went, no, this car is as much about being driven as it is driving. And I must say, first up, I've got an awful lot of legroom, and a lot of DS9 buyers are people that will be driven, that basically have some kind of driver or chauffeur. So what I really need is Mr. Joe Achilles driving me around. Joe, where are you when I need you, man? But yes, it's lovely, but I won't be able to kind of show you this on camera. You're just going to need to take my word for it. But there's a set of buttons on the little armrest down here, and when you turn them all on, I've got a back massaging function, which is really very, very nice, and a lovely kind of headrest. And it was a very early start this morning. My alarm went off at 3:30. We left the hotel at 4 o'clock. So I'm pretty tired, and I've just had a big lunch. So we've got about an hour until our next stop. So do you know what? I think I'm just gonna, have a few winks, chill out a bit, let someone else take the load, let someone else do the driving. But yeah, loads of space in the back here, absolutely cavernous. Now I've recovered from my nap and I'm now back again driving. Now, this DS9 is the more powerful option. It's got the same engine as I had this morning. It's a 1.6 4-cylinder petrol engine with a hybrid system. The difference, the car this morning had a hybrid system but only on the front axle. This is 4-wheel drive, so I've got the engine and the electric motor on the front axle, and I've also got an electric motor on the rear axle. So in hybrid mode you are driving a 4-wheel drive vehicle. But it's a little bit like the Alfa Romeo Tonale in that when you're in EV only, it utilises the electric motor on the rear axle, so technically you're in a rear-wheel drive car. Keeping up? I hope so. But the big difference is this car has more power, so it's 360 PS. And that should translate to quite a significant amount more pull. And it really does, and I'm just at the moment in normal hybrid mode. The guys that had the car this morning were very, very thoughtful and left the car with no charge in the battery whatsoever. So currently I'm in maximum e-save mode, so the car will actually recharge the battery as it's going along, unlike some plug-in hybrids. But if I go into the drive mode option and I go up into sport mode, I should now have, oh, that's more like it. Yes, It's still super smooth and super quiet. You just find yourself going down the road at a far greater rate of knots. The suspension's still soft and compliant underneath me, but the response underneath my right foot is significantly more. It's not that the car this morning was sluggish, it's just it wasn't really tuned to be a sporty car. This, as you come out of a corner, as you put a bit of loud pedal on, it's not that loud, it's just smooth and quick and effortless. And I really like that about this car. It has this understated feel to it. It doesn't look all that shouty from the outside. I think some of the styling cues, certainly some of the use of sort of diagonal motifs and switch gear and some of the styling on the outside might be a little bit bling for some people, but it actually sits quite nicely within the whole package. Now, one of the things I'm learning today is that DS don't just do things for the sake of doing things. So I've just mentioned about the lots of diagonal sharp edges and that it might be a bit too much for someone, but why is it like that? Well, as you've probably guessed by now, DS is a French brand, has a lot of its heritage in Paris and has a partnership with the Louvre in Paris. If you've been to the Louvre, you may well have seen the big pyramid, the glass pyramid outside. If you've not been to the Louvre, just watch the Da Vinci Code with Tom Hanks and you'll see it in that. But the diamond detailing in this car and in the other DS models takes its inspiration from the pyramid and the geometry of that pyramid outside the Louvre. And I think that's really cool. One of the things I would say as we come into this roundabout is the steering. I don't know whether it's because I've gone up into sport mode, it's just lightened up a lot and it really is quite direct and quite pointy, and for me it's just a little bit too, especially in here, a sort of beyond about 20 or 30 degrees worth of lock, it could just be a little bit firmer, a little bit less lively, because what you find when you go into a roundabout like that, you end up almost putting too much lock on and turning the nose of the car too much. So I just like that to be backed off a little bit. Once you're on the go and you're at pace or a bit of speed, it seems to feel okay. It's just that low speed manoeuvring round roundabouts, you just almost find yourself putting too much lock on if you're not careful. Here we are at our final stop of our drive tour of France. A velvet making factory. This is a first. I've been to a few wineries in my time, I've been to a few restaurants in my time. This is definitely it though. Look how many DS's are in the car park. This is us, we're here. The setup of these machines can take up to 3 weeks. Each one of these individual strands has to be hand tied. This place is just insane. Absolutely incredible. Here is the finished product, the Jacquard velvet, but the really cool thing that happens here, if you can just see the colour of this rose here, that is hand painted. So what we're seeing here, and you can see the details in here, the greens and the pinks, that's hand painted by skilled artisans. You can actually see the different oils and the little things that they used to dab on the colour, and you can see a piece of the velvet here and the dress that it's on. Just absolutely mind-blowing, this place. Now, as you can probably tell, this visit has totally blown me away. I know it has nothing to do with cars and this is a car channel, but when you come here, this is the only factory in the world that makes this product, and there are just 50 skilled artisans that work here using machines that date back to the 1800s. It's an amazing, amazing place. Some of these machines take up to 3 weeks to set up. It's remarkable, and I think it's that level of skill and craftsmanship and design, that's the reason we've come here. There's none of this material inside the DS9 I'm driving, but it's very much about that kind of French artisan approach to making something beautiful. And the velvets and the materials we've seen here today are absolutely that. So it's now time to jump back in the DS9 and head to our final stop of the day, our evening meal, and then I can have a drink because it's been a very, very long day today. It's currently, oh man, hold on a minute. Did I put my watch forward? No, it's not. It's like 6:45. Oh my days. But yeah, let's head back and I will wrap up this video this evening once I've got a glass of wine in my hand. Well, we are safely here at the hotel, so posh. Let's have a look at my hotel room. Wow. So beautiful. Massive bed. Let's have a quick look, see if we've got a nice view out the window or not. Not bad. Then we wander around here. Yeah, not bad. Now, I've got less than 10 minutes to get a shower and get back downstairs for dinner because we're running that late. Ah! That was the quickest shower and change ever. Now then guys, I'm going to draw this video to a close here. It's been a very long day. The alarm went off in the UK this morning at just after 3 o'clock in the morning. It's now gone 10 o'clock French time, so it's been a long day, but a magnificent day, and we've only just finished our starter. But today, it's been a fantastic day. It's been exploring the French art of travel. And I love France. I studied French as part of my degree. I lived in France, in Paris, during my degree. And at the time, I was nearly fluent by the time I got home. But that's a long time ago. It's like 30 years ago. But my French isn't too bad. It's a bit ropey, helped by a glass of wine or two. But it's a country I love dearly. And I've seen a part of France today that I'd not seen before. We've been exploring just the kind of southwest of Lyon and Dijon, beautiful, beautiful part of France. But what I found really interesting today is an automotive manufacturer like DS. I think DS is still quite an unknown or a misunderstood brand in the UK. And today was an attempt by them to really help us understand the genetics of the brand, the things that drive them. And I found it fascinating. The DS9 we've been driving, really that was just a backdrop for the film. This was never intended to be a review of the DS9. I'm going to get one of those because honestly it's been a very, very impressive car. And I've talked to you a little bit about what I thought, but it's certainly an impressive car. The ride, such a smooth, comfortable ride. And the performance of the 360 version I drove in the afternoon was fantastic. But I want to thank DS for just letting me fall in love with France again. I know the experiences, certainly the Vineyard this morning and the loom this afternoon, the velvet manufacturing facility, has just blown me away, and it's really made me think about how amazing artisan trades and crafts like that are. But anyway, I'm going to go in because my main course is about to be served. I hope you enjoyed that, a slightly different kind of video, a deep dive into a country, a culture that I love very, very much. France. But for now, I'm going to love you and leave you. If you enjoyed that, please give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol Ped for plenty more content to come. And I'll see you on the next video. But for now, cheers, à santé, and I shall see you on the next video. À plus tard.